Good afternoon, folks. Today, Monday, April 13th, 2 o'clock p.m. And as of the 12:51 p.m. update, courtesy of Johns Hopkins University of Medicine Coronavirus Resource Center, we're now just under 2 million worldwide total confirmed cases of coronavirus, and resulting in 117,569 deaths. But this is the number we'd like to see keep growing exponentially, 443,860 recoveries. Now, I will be honest here, this number is probably way, way higher given China's underreporting, because for a nation that has over a billion people, 83,213 is certainly underreporting. And so probably the total cases worldwide in actuality may be 3, maybe 4 million people, if you were to assume that China itself has that much more confirmed cases of COVID-19. So, going back to this map, there's a couple new features that was not here in even as far as last week. Now, a number that details the total number of people who have been tested, just under 3 million people in the US alone. And this new feature where you get to see exclusively how many people in the US alone have the coronavirus. Now, this is a rather outdated map. It's not been dated as of today. The last update was back on April 9th at 6:54 in the morning. So obviously that total number, 547,627, is not correct. We go back to the world map here, and we see that we have 560,891 in the US alone. As far as my unemployment is concerned, it's a lot of new updates, at least here in New Jersey, just to keep the website from crashing. Now there's a whole this schedule is much more convoluted than it was previously, but with so many people that are having to file for unemployment like me, like certain groups, depending on what the last 4 digits of your social security number is, will be designated to a particular day. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are those days. And then the rest of the week, all social security numbers may certify between these given times, these 1-hour windows here. So it's important that I need to get my benefits claimed as soon as possible. As a private studio teacher, the company that I work for, they follow what the district, they follow the district and what their schedule is. So if the local district is gonna be canceling the rest of the school year, July may very well be the earliest time that I could come back to work. If not, then possibly September. So we're looking at about 5 months that I am out of work, having to only rely on remote learning. And I only have 2 clients that have been consistently taking lessons over the webcam. So so I need to get that done as soon as possible. And so this month, the rest of this month is going to be interesting. Hopefully I'm wrong about coming back to work in September. Hopefully it's much earlier. And I will continue to reiterate the message that if people just do not do foolish things, and if people can do the prudent thing by staying home and just following orders and not getting anybody sick, we could greatly reduce the amount of time we have to continue to stay indoors, and also to reduce the number of fatalities in the USA alone. Okay, folks, today is Wednesday, April 15th, a rather historic day for several reasons. Today is technically tax day, but because of the virus, that day has been extended 3 months into July 15th, which interestingly enough is the day that I turn 26. So I find it peculiar that the year that I turn the age where I am no longer part of my no longer covered under my parents' insurance happens to also be tax day for this year. But today is also 108 years to the day in which the Titanic sank, 7 years since the Boston Marathon bombing, and 1 year to the date that the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in France, caught on fire. There's just something peculiar about April 15, huh? And you thought that Friday the 13th is a very unlucky day. Now, as far as coronavirus cases go, we have now eclipsed 2 million worldwide cases at 2,008,850. 610,774 of those cases in the USA alone, 129,045 deaths worldwide, and now just over 500,000 total recoveries at 502,389. This update as of 12:04 p.m. today, courtesy of the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Resource Center. And when I looked at those latest statistics, I focused a lot of my attention on the graph that if you ever go on the website, there's a little graph on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen that shows the cumulative increase in cases on a daily basis and on a overall basis as well. And that daily increase and that graph, that plot, is ever slowly starting to slow down, and that incline is not as steep as it is in recent days. So there's a lot to be happy about good news like this in times of trouble. And we just got to keep sustaining it, folks. Before you know it, we'll be operating the economy again, albeit at limited capacity. And even if we do get the economy running again, we are still not out of the woods. We're still taking baby steps, towards a goal that is still a mile away. So we just have to keep climbing and it's still gonna be an uphill battle. So as far as me personally, the unemployment saga is still going on, as I have still not been able to collect my benefits, nor have I gotten anything in the mail. In fact, I tried calling the office that serves my region of the state, and I had to answer a questionnaire in order to talk to an agent, and I wasn't able to get through to any of the agents there, and I really want to get those benefits because with this thing, going to last possibly through the summer and maybe the rest of the year, I don't want to think that, but it could very well happen. So I want to try to get that sorted out as quickly as I can, and I'm going to try again tomorrow, so wish me luck. Technically, I still live with my mom and dad, and they have been supportive. They have supported me financially for many years, but the only reason why I'm doing this is because I actually want to rely less on financial help from them. And that's the only way I can build my financial literacy, and to be able to go through something like this and be able to do this independently, because you never know when we might have another pandemic like this, and it could very well be something worse, I'm just saying. So that's what's been going on. So not a lot of exciting footage since Easter, but that's what it is. This is just simply me chronicling every day I'll try to find something a little exciting. Maybe I could play a little bit of music to close out the episode. Who knows? But all I can say is that we are going to get through this, and we just got to take it one day at a time.
Reimagine your workplace. And we learned a lot through this situation. People work from home. Well, how many people can continue to work from home and the business still work? How do you socially distance in the workplace? Can you socially distance in your workplace? What are your new normal procedures and practices? How do you think you're going to get workers back and forth? And what precautions would you take in the workplace? How would people work, and where would they sit, or where would they stand? And how do you do it without conference meetings? And how do you do it without gatherings? How are you going to interact with the public in a way that keeps the public safe, right? We're talking about businesses that pose a lower risk. Tell us how you intend to organize and conduct your business. And can you do it in a way that poses a lower risk? And what would you do with your workforce to make sure if an infection happens that we can jump on it quickly? And then as we're going through all this planning, this is going to be a moment of transformation for society. And we paid a very high price for it. But how do we learn the lessons so that this new normal is a better New York? And there are lessons that we must learn from this. Because we do need to do things differently, or we can do things differently, and we can do things better. Part of the way across that bridge is testing. It is
123,000 confirmed cases, with about 2,000 people still being diagnosed each day. The death toll nearing 15,000. New York City home to more than half of those cases and most of the deaths. And while the president pushed to reopen America again, he says governors will have the final say on when to reopen their states. Dana Arshan joins us now with more on today's announcement. Dana.
Steve, if you're confused about when the economy will reopen, you have every right to be. Here in New York, Governor Cuomo announced stay-at-home orders will stay in effect for at least another month. However, President Trump has a different agenda. It's a plan he says a team of scientists, experts, and healthcare professionals helped him come up with.
Based on the latest data, our team of experts now agrees that we can begin the next front in our war, which we're calling Opening Up America Again.
President Trump announcing his three-phase plan to gradually reopen the economy as soon as possible. In the first phase, only vulnerable individuals would stay at home. In the second phase, non-essential travel will resume. And the third phase is to send everyone back to work. The president says the health of U.S. citizens is dependent on a strong economy.
A prolonged lockdown combined with a forced economic depression would inflict an immense and wide-ranging toll on public health. This includes a sharp rise in drug abuse, alcohol abuse, suicide, heart disease, and many other dimensions of physical and mental well-being.
The president's fast track to reopening the economy is the opposite of what Governor Cuomo's vision is for New York State.
New York pause has worked. The close down has worked. That's how we controlled the beast.
The governor announced that New York will stay on pause until at least May 15th, meaning all non-essential workers stay at home and non-essential businesses stay closed.
Why don't you open tomorrow? Because we're afraid the infection rate will go up. And everything we've been doing is to slow the infection rate.
President Trump is also now walking back comments he made earlier in the week that he had total authority. He's now saying governors will make the ultimate decisions on when to reopen their states.
I don't know if you folks at home have noticed lately, but I've been growing out my hair and facial hair. Obviously, there are no barbershops open for me to cut my hair, but as far as my facial hair goatee is concerned, I've decided to challenge myself and vow that as long as we are in this pandemic, I'm gonna let this thing keep growing. And when we have reached at least phase 2 of opening up America again, as presented by our president yesterday, then I'll decide to shave and get a clean, fresh cut. It obviously wouldn't be wise to wait until there's a vaccine, because as you know, that'll probably take another 8, 9, 10 months, maybe a little more. But anyway, just looking at the numbers today, any hope about flattening the curve or bottoming out and plateauing, they've been dashed, because now there are 2,188,194 total worldwide cases, up almost 100,000 from 24 hours ago. Now, 672,293 of those cases are in the USA alone. Now, 147,632 have succumbed to the disease, while 556,734 have recovered. I know this episode is not the most exciting episode. I'm still recovering, believe it or not, from the burnout of making the Easter episode, because editing that episode, put me back, quite a bit in terms of all these books that you see over there. I'm still reading a lot of them, and obviously I'm still, doing my best to refine my musician skills and literature skills. But still, just hearing about our nation opening up in phases, it just makes me optimistic about entering the summer months, being able to at least work and purchase things. Generally speaking, let's be real. Any events like local carnivals and theme parks and 4th of July celebrations, I highly doubt will happen, even if the entire nation enters phase 3 by then. We should already know that the summer is already gone. Any big summer plans like the beaches, they're never going to be the same. Not until at least next year or the year after. But still, not being sequestered is going to be a welcome change of pace until we possibly have to do it again come December and January if this virus makes a comeback, along with the cold and flu viruses associated with the wintertime. So, it's up to the discretion of state governors to decide when to open their state back up. And my prediction is that rural states that are not as populated, such as Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, they're all going to open up much more quickly than, say, here in New Jersey or Delaware, California. Given our proximity to New York, I'm putting my best guesstimate, at least June 9 or 10, give or take 4 days. At the pace we're going, I think it seems reasonable, and I hope I'm either right or I'm wrong, and that it's earlier than that. But for now, folks, exercise prudency and stay safe, and I'll see you for the next episode.